Kia ora and welcome to Wellywood Wargaming. This is the second episode in where I talk about weapons, war gear, equipment for Necromunda. Previously we did basic weapons. I'm really bored today and I haven't got a huge amount to do, so I thought I might as well just launch into all the videos, to be honest. Now, in this series I'm not going to talk about the house-specific weapons as such. We're just going to do the stuff that's basically on the main trading post. We're not doing Xenos weapons, we're not doing corrupted weapons, we're not doing Imperial weapons. We're going to just do the basics, and this one is all about pistols. So we're going to get straight into it. In the last episode I was going to sort of grade things, but it really is so subjective. But I think just touching on that quickly, in basic weapons, my overall favourite basic weapon and the winner of the entire thing, I think, is the lasgun. The humble lasgun is my favourite basic weapon in the game. It's a bold statement, you may not agree with me, but you're wrong. Anyway, so we're going to go into pistols now. Excuse me. So starting with pistols, we're going to start off with the humble auto pistol here. So very, very similar to an auto gun in a lot of ways, but it's a pistol. So what we've got here is we've got a 4-inch short range, we've got a 12-inch long range, so basically half for both of those on an auto gun. We've got plus one to hit at short range, 4 inches. We've got strength 3, damage 1, 4-up ammo. We've got rapid fire, and we've got the sidearm trait. So all of these pistols, pretty much all of these pistols that we're going to go through, have the sidearm trait, which means that you can use them in close combat. Now, having a sidearm on any fighter is always going to be useful if you get stuck in combat, or if you're actually a combat fighter, then great, have that pistol because it will give you that extra attack. And with a rapid fire weapon, that can be very, very useful in close combat particularly. Now, auto pistols are generally going to cost you 10 credits for most gangs, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not the best pistol in the bunch, and they're not quite as good as an auto gun, I would say. But they're solid, you know, they're solid. I can't really elaborate too much on auto pistols because there's not really a lot I can say on this. They're similar to an auto gun, they're just half the range, basically. That's exactly what it is. However, of course, you get the sidearm trait, so it's a nice thing to have. Now, just touching on that quickly, you've got the reclaimed auto pistol version of it, which is usually going to be 5 credits. Now, for me, reclaimed auto pistols are at 5 credits, really, really solid, and then starting to compete with the awesome Stub Gun, which we'll touch on in a minute. But reclaimed auto pistols, just like the reclaimed auto gun, you're exchanging, you're exchanging the ammo roll from going for a 4-up to a 5-up for the price, for the credit cost. For me, on a pistol, on a sidearm that you're not going to use as much as a basic weapon, I think that's really valuable. So having a 5 credit weapon stuck onto a fighter card as a backup is really, really, really good. So I actually think reclaimed auto pistols for me are a preference over normal auto pistols, but it really does depend on do you get access to them in your gang list. If not, then just get the regular one. But 5-10 credits difference, you know, it's going to make a difference in your starting lists. The next one, of course, is the bolt pistol. Again, very similar to a bolt gun. However, the bolt pistol is substantially worse than some of the other pistol counterparts. The reason being is that you've got half the range, you've still got the accuracy at short range, it's still damage 2, it's still strength 4, it's still -1 AP, it's still got bad ammo rolls, so your ammo roll is still a 5-up, I believe, sorry, 6-up, sorry. They do have the sidearm trait, which is nice, but they're 45 credits, which is a lot when you compare it to the bolt gun, which is 55, I believe. Now, the key difference here is that they don't have rapid fire, so you can't get those lucky 3 times 2 damage shots off like you would with a bolt gun every now and then. So for me, the reason why these aren't great pistols is when you compare them to something similar like a plasma pistol, they fall very short indeed. We're going to go into the plasma pistol in a minute, but the plasma pistol is so much better than a bolt pistol and similar that you're hardly ever going to take a bolt pistol for any reason other than fluff or that they look cool. I take bolt pistols, I really like them, but they're just not as good as a plasma pistol, straight up. So the next thing we're going to get into now, and this is something that gets a bit more complex, is combi weapons. Now there are a few different combi pistol types, and these are quite cool really. So your primary component is going to be one pistol variant, and then you have a secondary component which is a different type. Now your main primary component can either be an auto pistol, a bolt pistol, or a stub gun. And those are just the basic profile for that weapon. And then you have the secondary profile, which can either be a hand flamer or a plasma pistol. I think there might be some other types here, but these are the main ones. So of course your hand flamer is a hand flamer. We're going to go into hand flamers separately actually after this, but hand flamers are always great. However, if you have them on a combi pistol, it makes them usually a bit more pricey and less reliable. I don't know if they're as good as just a straight hand flamer, to be honest. But you have a plasma pistol on there too. Now what you can do is stick a stub gun plasma pistol combi is particularly good and quite cheap. I think they're 40 credits for a stub plas. That's the street term, I suppose. Really, really, really nice. I've used them on a few occasions. They don't, I mean, it's kind of a weird one because you've got an energy weapon with a, just a revolver basically, which is kind of a strange combination, but in the game they're really good on paper and they work pretty well too. The problem with combi is that you have two weapon profiles which you can run out of ammo on quite easily, because what combi does is when you take an ammo check, you have to roll 2 dice and discard the highest. So you're always picking the lowest ammo roll. So you're more likely to run out, especially if you've got the plasma stub. You'll probably get 1 or 2 shots off with the plasma one. If you're lucky, maybe even 1. And then you'll kind of default down to the stub gun profile, which is not too bad because stub guns are great. But that's just touching on combi quickly. And that gives you a rough idea about what you can do in combinations of weapons and pistols. It's not really necessary, but it's kind of cool. It's cool that you can do it. The next one, and it's kind of an odd one, is the Grav Pistol. Now, if you saw our other battle report from last night, actually, we had Grav guns popping off all over the place, and they're not a weapon that we tend to see too much in our campaigns, but Grav is really powerful. Really, really nice weapon profile. So the Grav Pistol here, 6-inch short range, 12-inch long range, so similar to most pistols, +1 to hit at short range. We've got no strength, because I'll get into that in a minute. They have -1 AP. They have 2 damage and a 5-up ammo. They also have a blast marker of 3 inches. So again, blast marker is incredibly powerful. It's only the small one, but it negates the fact that you have to rely on your ballistic skill a little bit, because you can ping one off into a corner, and sometimes they only scatter 1 inch if you miss, 2 inches if you miss, and they're still going to hit the target. You can also hit someone on the corner of a building. You can aim at a spot. You don't have to aim at a fighter to use a template. You can just aim at somewhere that you can see basically and use that as your target. So really, really useful. So that's the stats of the Grav Pistol. Now they have Concussion and Graviton Pulse. Now Concussion gives you -2 initiative for that round. So if you shoot someone with a Grav weapon and they're on a walkway, suddenly their 4-up initiative goes to a 6-up initiative, and they're much more likely to fall off and hurt themselves. So that's really cool. You've also got Graviton Pulse. Now Graviton Pulse, firstly, in order to wound, because there's no strength statistic, in order to wound, they have to do a strength check. They have to get under their equal to or under their strength to not be wounded. Now if they are wounded, that's 2 damage, and it's pretty nasty too. Now you also have, this is the only way in the game that you can negate a skill like Nerves of Steel, because Graviton Pulse means that you are pinned no matter what skill you have. So really, really powerful for pinning those Goliaths and people that want to just walk around the board scot-free with Nerves of Steel. So that's really useful as well. Now Grav Pistols are pretty awesome actually, similar to a Grav gun, but just shorter range on it basically. Now The other thing about Grav Pistols as a template weapon is they don't have the sidearm trait, luckily, because that would be a bit weird if you were popping. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but luckily it's not a thing, so don't worry about it. Now the next one is the hand flamer. Now the hand flamer needs its own moment, really, because it is an incredibly powerful weapon. Very expensive. I think there's 70 credits off the top of my head. Could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But 70 credits roughly. Hand flamer is a template weapon, so it has the flame template, this one. Now hand flamers are strength 3. They don't have AP, luckily, but they're 1 damage, they're 5 up ammo, and they have blaze. So you're only people on 4s, which isn't too scary, but you're also setting people on fire on 4s, which, if you know what the blaze trait does, it basically prevents you from doing anything for quite a while unless you put it out. So you have to put those flames out, and they also continue damaging you while you're on fire too. So templates, again, just reiterating how important these are in this game. Now, you get lists like Corpse Grinders where they have infiltrating initiatives with hand flamers and stuff, and it's gross, it's disgusting. You combine it with something like hip shooting, where you can run and gun. Really, really powerful weapons. Of course, the flamer by itself only really goes up in strength, so the hand flamer does win against a regular flamer quite often because of the cost difference. I think a normal flamer is 140 credits, 130 credits, something like that. So the hand flamer is just equally as potent. It's just not going to wound you as much, but setting people on fire alone, blaze, is just so powerful that why not? So there's the hand flamer. I mean, again, don't spam these weapons. Don't be that guy, because loads and loads of blaze, unless you're playing Caldor and you have a real justified reason, or a redemptionist rather, have a real justified reason for doing it fluff wise, just don't be that guy. Exactly the same as web. Web and blaze, terrible. But there you go. The next thing we have is the las pistol. Now the las pistol is 10 credits generally. It's like a las gun, but it's much shorter range. We have +1 to hit at 8 range. We have 12-inch long range, strength 3, no AP, 2 up ammo, plentiful, very reliable, great to have with, I think Vansar get them at 5 credits each, which is really nice, and they don't get access to stub guns, so why not? So the las pistol, again, not as good as a las gun, but nice and reliable. I think the problem with las pistols is 10 credits is quite a lot when you could just pay 15 for a las gun and get the extra 18-inch range +1 to hit at short range is very nice. But we shouldn't really be comparing pistols to basic weapons, I suppose. So ignore me on that one. But that's your las pistol. Again, just touching on hot shot power packs, you can, for 20 credits, make them strength 4 and -1 AP. But that brings the ammo up to 4 up as well. So you're looking at 30 credits for a hot shot las pistol, which is quite nice. I've got one on my champion at the moment, and she's been okay with it, but it's not too fancy. And again, you can go into focusing crystals as well, which gives you -2 AP, which is quite helpful, but they explode and kill your guys sometimes. So that's las pistols. The next up is a fun one, is the needle pistol. Now the needle pistol, excuse me, is a bit more expensive. I think they're 25, 30 credits. Can't quite remember because I hardly ever used them. But they have 4-inch short range, +2 to hit a short range though, but it is 4 inches, so you've got to get very close to use it. And you've got a 9-inch long range with no negatives to that either. They have -1 AP. They have a 6 up ammo and scarce, so once they're out of ammo in a game, they cannot be reloaded. However, these guys, they have silent, they have sidearm, and they have toxin. So really, really great for taking out characters, taking out multi-wound characters. You know, anyone with anyone with more than 1 wound, toxin is great for. Depending on the toughness of the target, of course. Toxin relies on the toughness of the target in any weapon. So, but yeah, essentially they can take out champions and leaders very easily. So dangerous weapons used in the right hands, but that short range on a needle pistol really does make them nowhere near as effective as they could be for the cost. I would rather take a Stub Gun most of the time, to be honest. So that's just me, but there you go. Next up, we have a Plasma Pistol. Now, we haven't had, you know, there's no basic weapon equivalent of Plasma. There's just a special weapon and a heavy weapon version of it. Now, Plasma is very, very, very good in this game. Now, a Plasma Pistol is awesome. Really, really awesome, and far, far superior to a Bolt Pistol. It's kind of nearest rival, I suppose, in the pistol category. Now, Plasma Pistol has two profiles. It has a low profile and a maximal profile. The low profile, 6-inch short range, +2 to hit though. 12-inch long range, strength 5, -1 AP, 2 damage, 5 up ammo. It's scarce and a sidearm, so just really, really damn solid, to be honest. And then you have the maximal profile, which is for those crazy people like Rory in our campaign who likes to just overcharge everything. Similar to 40k, but not quite as damaging. But these can explode in your hands and just take out your own fighter. But they're really fun if you just want to really, really hit hard and make sure that what you're hitting is finished and incinerated with style. Now the maximal profile, same range, +1 though at short range, so you're not as reliable to hit. But again, it has sidearm, so you can do this in close combat too. It's strength 7, so you're winning most guys on a 2 now instead of 3, which is substantial improvement. It also has -2 AP, so that's ignoring mesh armor and chomping through carapace and giving them a 6 armor too, 6 up too. And you also have, of course, scarce, sidearm, unstable, same ammo check. So nice to have 2 options there. One is just killer, and of course, sorry, just touching on this quickly, damage 3 instead of damage 2. So huge amount of damage that you can do is you know, equal to a las cannon shot basically. So except not as high strength or AP. So there you go. That's the Plasma Pistol. They're 45 credits normally, or 50, sorry, no, excuse me. Bolt Pistols are 45. Plasma Pistols are 50 credits. So if you're going to compare Bolt Pistols to Plasma Pistols, you can probably see already why Plasma Pistols are nearly always, well, in fact, they are always better than a Bolt Pistol for various reasons. And with 5 credit difference as well, you're going to always take the Plasma Pistol, except for rule of cool, maybe. Bolt Pistols are kind of cooler. To me, they look cooler. Subjective entirely, but there you go. Now the last one, and this is my favorite pistol. So I said before, my favorite basic weapon in the game is the las gun. My favorite pistol in the game is the Stub Gun, the humble Stub Gun. Great weapon. It's 5 credits. It is +2 to hit at short range. The short range is 6 inches. The long range is 12 inches. Strength 3, damage 1. 4+ ammo check, but it is plentiful, so it's much easier to reload. It also has the sidearm trait, of course. Now you can also get Dum Dum Rat ammo, which is it's only 5 credits, and you go from being slightly less accurate at short range, slightly shorter range in general. So instead of 6-12, it's now 5-10. Now there's no AP on these, but they're strength 4, so they just hit a bit harder, which is quite nice. And again, these are limited, so once they're gone, they're gone. But 5 credits, I mean, it's absolutely worth it. Now, what Stub Guns are great for is giving them to Juves, wreckers, people with low ballistic skill that get in close and just want to hit stuff. You know, a Juve who's got a 5-up ballistic skill is now hitting on a 3-up all of a sudden. So, awesome weapons for 5 credits. Just give them to everybody. Unless, of course, you ban SAR, in which case you don't get them. But yeah, Stub Guns, give them to everybody. There is an argument, you know, which is better, the Stub Gun or the reclaimed auto pistol for 5 credits. They're both great. I mean, it's a real trade-off with short range accuracy and rapid fire. So I like both, to be honest. But I think the Stub Gun overall, as you get access to it for everybody, is just the best pistol in the game. 5 credits. You know, you can't really complain about that at all, can you? It's just awesome. The last one, and the most powerful one on the entire list, is of course the web pistol. Now, web pistols, similar to hand flamers, are just really fucking annoying. Now, web pistols have this little squirty template too. They're strength 4, which is better than a hand flamer. They don't have AP though, and you'll see why. They have a 6-up ammo, they are silent, and they have the web trait. Now, web, closing the book now because web needs to be, how do I describe web? So you roll to wound on the target with strength 4. You're wounding most guys on a 3. Now, as soon as you wound, no save can be made against web. Now, this extends to terrain, unfortunately, too. So you can squirt around the corner and get someone in who you can hardly see at all. But as long as your template is over their base, you can still get them most of the time, and they don't get a save bonus for that either, which is really nasty, as opposed to a hand flamer, which will give you a cover save. And what web does is you immediately are counted as seriously injured. So you're seriously injured straight away. So you've still got to try and make those recovery checks afterwards. You can still be coup de grace. However, when you go out of action from a web gun, you don't succumb to the injury. So instead, you just go out cold, which is a nice thing for campaign play. You know, it's not, you don't feel so bitter about it. But again, you combine this with hip shooting or infiltrate or a few other little skills out there, and you've got an incredibly potent weapon. I think off the top of my head, web guns are 90 credits. Could be wrong there. They might be cheaper for Delac, for example, because they're web guys. And you're going to get web, much more access for web with certain gangs. Genestealer cults, Delac are going to get more web weapons. Now, the web trait is arguably the most powerful and broken trait in the game, I would say. It's just so powerful. There isn't a huge amount of difference between a web gun and a web pistol. The web gun is strength 5, the web pistol is strength 4. So you're still wounding most people on 3s most of the time. Unless you've got loads of Goliaths, then you might want to take the web gun. But yeah, web pistols. Luckily, they don't have the sidearm trait again because they're a template weapon. No template weapon has sidearm that I'm aware of. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But this is just the most powerful trait in the game, pretty much. And when you're on the receiving end of a good old webbing and you're playing against a Delac gang that's got several guys with web guns, let alone web gauntlets, we'll go into those with close combat, you're looking at a really rough time. So there you go. That's my my rundown of pistols, or the main pistols in the game, non-house specific. And my vote, the Stub Gun is the best pistol in the game, in my opinion. With the web gun following straight up there at 90 credits. So, you know, 85 credit difference. Quite different weapons. No point comparing them really, but there you go. Again, please like, share, subscribe. We're going to go into the next one very soon. See you on the flip side.